Number 51. Action.
Hey friends, welcome on back to the Dave It Yourself channel. My name is Dave and this is my channel. As you can see, we're back here in the showroom today, and in front of me on the table we have the Arrows F-15 dual 64mm EDF jet. God, I love this plane so much. As a matter of fact, I was so enamored by this plane when it first came out. I bought 3 of these jokers. One of them I gave away as my 500 subscriber huge giveaway prize, and again, congratulations to Justin Worden for winning that. The other one I have polyurethane detailed and weathered and hanging from the ceiling. The other one here I have half polyurethane, half weathered, mostly on the top. But this is my flight bird. This is the one that has the swing canopy on it and the magnetic pilot seat for an S360 Go 1 or Go 2. And I've only flown this particular bird 4 times. As a matter of fact, I have 2 videos on my channel, which I'll link at the end of this particular video, so you can take a look at those particular flights. But if you haven't seen the 4th flight, or the one that I affectionately call flight number floor, well, as a reference, I'm going to put it in right here. 3, 2, 1. I got 1 gear down still. Yeah, gears up now. I don't like that. Oh! All right, friends, you saw when the battery died on this bad boy. This thing came in hot and quick and hit pretty hard. As a matter of fact, hard enough it made the canopy pop off. And I haven't flown it since. Not because I didn't want to, but as I had it hanging here in the hangar, just hanging out, waiting to be flown, I seem to have, don't tell anybody, but I seem to have misplaced the wing spar. I didn't lose the wing spar. I didn't lose it. I just have, misplaced it for an extended period of time, I like to say. So anyway, to solve that problem, went ahead and ordered a new wing spar. So I finally got that in and unveiled that on my show last Sunday night. So we got the one crucial part that we need to get this bad boy back together. I still have the screws here in the wing part, so at least I was smart enough to do that. So I think the goal here is to get this bad boy back together, get a battery in it. The smart battery that I had that had the dead cell is no longer in service here. We're going to be using a Gens Ace 3306S in this bad boy, which I have used in this plane before. Works great. And then I think the goal here is to get it back together, get the red apron on, and see what we can do about making this thing sure that this thing is airworthy. If there's any problems or things that need to be repaired, we'll need to do that beforehand. Once it passes the ready for air test, then I think what we'll do is move on to some of the hanger rash items that has received while it has been in here. If you're a F-15 fan, or if you have this particular plane or any F-15, you know that normally the first 2 things to go as far as hanger rash or flight damages is the vertical stabilizer nubs. That's right. Those things go pretty quick. Good news is I do have the nubs here, so we will be able to replace the actual nubs that go on there. So that's good news. And then from there, what we'll do is go ahead and do some other touch-ups and some other paintings and stuff that we have. It's always great to have the parts that you can find to repair your things. However, when you don't have the parts, like in this particular case, I don't have this little part that broke off, which is the little wing nub here at the tip. It did not damage the light, but it did break the nub off. Here's the other wing with the nub still in place, so you can kind of get an idea exactly what that little part is. So I'm going to have to, David, yourself fabricate something for that. I don't think that'll be too tough. And then as far as the other part I don't have, looking at this wing bomb setup here, the rear flight fins on the back of this particular missile are missing. So I'm going to have to, David, yourself craft a part to go there. And I think I have found it in my miscellaneous parts bin, some things that I think will work out just fine here. So we'll go ahead and get that fixed up and do a total David yourself project with that. And then the nose cone. Nose cone's still in okay shape. However, when I had it stored here and leaned it against the plane wall back here, had it on the nose stub, and I had the nose cone inside the exhaust port. Well, when it got warm in here, when the AC was busting for a bit, it caused the paint to stick on the nose cone, and when I pulled it out, so I'm going to have to sand and refinish this part. Now, as far as the actual color goes, I don't have the exact color for this, but I do have some flat gray primer, which I think ought to be a pretty close match for something like that. And then we'll go ahead and put a clear semi-gloss gloss coat, something like that over it. I think that'll be good enough to do with the repairs. But the first thing here is to go ahead and get the spar in it, get the wings on it and all of that, and make sure that this bad boy is at least airworthy. Review the landing gear, make sure all that stuff looks good, and then once we do decide that it's airworthy, then we're going to go ahead and move on to doing some of these touch-up and repair items. So, and then hopefully at the end of this particular video, we will be able to get some sweet, sweet video footage of its 5th flight, so that would be pretty great. So if you want to see exactly how all that works out, and how those repairs go, and how this plane flies after a year of not being flown and just hanging out, you know what I recommend you do. Stick around.
Action.
All right, friends, I've got the red apron on. Let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead and get this bird together. I've got the screws, like I said, in the wing supports already, so let's go ahead and get that out. Those are 2 millimeters, so I've got my 2 millimeter bit. So let's go ahead and get those out, spar in, connected, and let's get that together. I'm going to go ahead and speed that up for you, though, so you don't have to watch it right now. All right, Fred, so I went ahead and got everything put together there. Everything seemed to go together just fine. With the dual servo lead connectors that you have in the wings, the best way I found to get those to work is to feed the servo lines into the wing, stack the 2 servo connectors, slide those into the wing, and then force them and kind of settle them in at that point. That seems to work pretty well. All right, so let's go ahead and drop a battery up in here. Like I said, I have the, it's not a Gens Ace, it's a Roaring Top. And it is a 3370C 6S battery. So let's go ahead and drop that in here. The receiver I have in here, I believe, is the Spectrum 636B, I think. Alright. Move those battery straps out of the way so I can set them in there. There we go. Alright. Get the controller on. Plug this bad boy up. Alright, so looks like my flap here is a little high. I'm going to have to manually adjust that because that's in full up position. And when I go to middle position for takeoff flaps, it goes level. So I can clearly see I'm going to need to do that. All right, and let's try the landing gear. Oh, Sorry. All right. I can see this one wheel is sticking out a tad bit. This looks like this whole wheel piece right here. Looks like this whole wheel setup right here on the loose side. So we're gonna have to fix that. That's why it's not seating in there properly. So we'll do that. Let's give it a little run-up test. All right. And like I said, the S3X safe is all working there. And then I have it on switch, so then just the AS3X. All right, friends, let's go ahead and address that wheel situation. Like I said, that one is super loose. The peg may be bent a little bit too. So let's go ahead and jump into that. That is not a 2mm, that is the super small. So let's jump into that. And I'll speed it up. All right, friends, so if you take a look here, you can see that the hole in the landing gear is a little elongated. So it is walled out a little bit there. That's probably why it got loose. Let's see if I have some pliers I can use here to maybe close that up a little bit. Not so much. Strap this battery in a little bit. So we're popping out. All right. Try that landing gear thing again. All right. So we can see this one does not sit properly here. And that is because it has that little bit of a bend. So this is just a tad bit bent backward. This tries it. But because it's slightly bent backwards, it does not want to sit in there properly. All right, so again, you can see it's just slightly curved back here at the top. You can kind of see that. And that is just enough for it to not want to sit in there properly. So I'm going to have to go to try to manhandle that a little bit. So stick around. All right, friends, so I went ahead and worked on the landing gear some. It needed some decent tweaking. I think I've got it to a point where it's going to lay down in there as good as it's going to get with that bent upper collar. As you can see, it's pretty close. It could probably take a little bit more. Like I said, with that collar bent a little bit, it's going to be sticking just a little bit there. I have carved out some of this inside wheel well just a little bit, try to get it to sit just a little bit deeper in there. And that's about as good as I'm going to get on that one right now. So that's as good as that gets until I replace that particular wing or that wheel. So, and then in the meantime, while I was doing that, I went ahead and also re-adhered the stabilizer tips here, just a little hot glue to put them in place, and then some strips of paper tape over it to hold it in place, and then some bead of hot glue over the paper tape to give it a nice little rubber finish. And as you can see, they don't move now. So that's how you do that. All right, so all that's looking good. I need to address that flap situation since it is not level. I need to fix that. So we'll go ahead and work on that next, and then from there, maybe what we can do is even give it a taxi run here in just shortly. So we'll take a look at that. but I've got the hot glue going, and we'll go ahead and work on some of the other things too. And as far as that one part on the bottom of the missile I was talking about, we'll get to that, but let me show you exactly what I'm going to use. So I got this missile piece here, and then I found this black plastic cap, which looks like it goes into the end of something. It has 4 slits in it, and I'm going to use the foam pieces left here on this Nerf football that I cut off for Aerospace Matt's Aeroscout. So I've got those little fins there. They will perfectly fit in those grooves, like so. So they'll sit in there like that. So I'll put 4 of those in there, and then we'll probably just glue this bad boy right on the back like that, paint it silver or paint it gray like the rest of the pieces, and I think that's how we're going to do that. So we'll work on that piece as well and get that together. But in the meantime, like I said, I've got some little repairs going here, and we're going to continue on with this project. So stick around. All right, friends. So I went ahead and got that piece made for the back of the missile, as you can see with the foam parts there. And then mounting it on this bad boy back here should be pretty easy with the extended foam pieces. Just like that. And then I'll need to glue it in place and paint it, but look at that. Not bad, huh? Yeah, that'll work. I just need to paint it so gray with the rest of it, and I think that'll do just fine. I think it'll pass the smell test once I paint it gray. So there you go. That's how that works out. Dave it yourself at its finest. Little plastic end cap and some foam pieces from the flights of a Nerf football. Glue them in place on those slots, and there you go. So there you go. That's part number 1 we need to work on. All right. And then got the tips glued on. I got the nose outside. I'm just going to sand that down a little bit. It's still going to have the ring in it. I'm not going to worry about that too much because, again, this is my flight plane. If it continues to fly good after I test it out here again, I may just do some more refinishing on it. But right now, I just want to get it to the point where it's ready to do some flying. So stick around for that. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and work on that flap right there because it's a little elevated since I have it unplugged. Now is the time to do it. Everything is level here. Everything is level here except for that flap. All right. And that is going to require a small screwdriver, which I happen to have. All right. So I'm going to work on that flap. I won't make you sit through that. So when I come back, the flap will be done. All right, friends. So I think I finally got that flap finally leveled out the way it should be. All the way down, middle, all the way up. So it looks level now with the other wings, so we should be good there. As you can see, I got the nose cone on. It's nice and dark like the E-Flight 80mm F-15. So that's the primer color there. You can still see I still got the ridge in there. I'm not going to worry about filling that in or anything right now. I'm just going to leave it as is for now. Give it some clear coat, call it a day on that. But the other repair part, I've got that outside painted, glued, and ready to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and get that on. And then hopefully we should be able to get a chance to test this bad boy out. Looks like I've got so it looks like with safe off, any trimming I need to do here? Nope. But it seems like these are up just a tad bit. Oops. And when I put safe on, they really kick up. All right, so I don't have any trim set in that. I think I might need to manually adjust those. Safe off, it brings it back down. All right. I'm fine with them being up a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, I'm fine with that. All right, cool. So I think hopefully that landing gear and everything will work out fine. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, that's about as tight as that one's going to get in there for now with that bent collar there. But I think that'll be enough to get it to go fast. So there we go. All right, good deal. So let's go ahead and finish up some little stuff on here. Then we'll go ahead and do some dry running out there in the street. Just make sure that it turns and does everything right. It seems to look good. And then we'll get ready to take it on out and see if we can do some flying. Stick around. All right, friends, so there we go. We got the fins on the back of the missile there. You can see they're a little darker than the other ones, but I do think that that is a nice replacement. I think that will work just fine. So it looks good, nice and straight on there, so we're good to go with that. So let's get this thing assembled and get it on out there. Stick around. All right, friends, so we've got the Arrows F-15 all ready to roll. We've got some minor repairs in the process here, some little things like the nose cone, stuff like that. I like the actual darker nose cone. It looks a lot like, like I said, the E-flite F-16, 80 millimeter. That's pretty cool, which is pretty standard color for the F-15s. Got the tips on there a little bit. Got the missile repaired and nose on back on there. The stores back on. Flaps seem to be fixed up back out. I'm just going to trim the elevators back here as I see fit. Hopefully that'll be in good shape. But the rest of that is pretty much ready to go. And this thing should be ready to roll. So let's get it on out there in the street, test it out a little bit, see how it works. And then we'll take it on down to some flying field and slap some cameras on it and see how this flight number 5 goes. So if you want to see that, you know what I recommend? You stick around. That's right. Nice.
And go.
Good one, right?
Yeah, that's good.